This is Emerge by Desola, where clarity meets courage, where purpose meets power. Every episode is about rebuilding your business, your mindset, your faith, and your story. So take a deep breath, lean in, and let's rebuild together. My name is Adesola Oladumoye.
Every stumble touch you something.
There comes a time where everything that defines you does not fit. The titles fade and the applause quietens. And the mirror begins to say to you that who exactly are you without the doing? Who exactly are you without anyone watching? This is a season of rebuilding that speaks not just to structure or to dreams, but to your identity. If you do not remember who you are, how do you begin to rebuild? This is Emerge by Desola, where we rebuild with clarity, purpose, and vision. And this episode is truly, truly very interesting and very important to me. It is rebuilding through an identity. Rebuilding through knowing your identity. And I have right here with me a phenomenal woman, Mrs. Ibukun Omololu. She's been working with in the gender space, in gender equality for women, and she has a lot. You know, she's a woman of steel, a woman of grace, a visionary entrepreneur, you know, transitioning from the bank into running our own business. And there's a lot that she's going to unbundle for us and help women emerge. You're welcome, sis.
Thank you, Desola. It's such a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. You know, I've known you for quite a while, and I remember that this Emerge has been a long time coming.
Yes, it's been in the works.
Yes, it's been in the works. And it's really good to, you know, have somebody who knows behind the scene. You know, who saw that this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. This is going to happen. This is not going to happen. You know, tell me. You know, people want to know where did your story start from? You know, that point where you said this is where I can recollect. You know, where that journey started off for me. Yeah.
That's a very deep question, Desola, and it feels like a long story. But okay, let me just say that there's a time in life where you know that it feels like you've outgrown a space.
Outgrown a space.
It feels like you're outgrowing a space, and you have to, you just wonder, like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I have to be more, there's more. And it's not really aligned with even your performance and achievements and all the recognitions you have.
Wow.
And it takes a lot, hearing from God particularly, that I need you to step out at this season. I mean, there were a lot of things that happened and moved into place, but at a point in time, particularly when your spouse is aligned with you and he's even giving you the go ahead, like, this is the time, there's something, you know this is a season to transition, then you know you have to do it.
Wow.
Now, for my story, background story, I've been working for almost 14 years, if not more, because I didn't want to count it with that particular corporate experience. And for a long time, I had been like a high flyer, part of the management program in the organization and so many other things, and then I'd gone on to start leading the gender department in terms of the women desk and all of that. And at a point in time, clearly in 2020, I'd heard clearly from God that He had told me that you will start up a business, I have to approve the name, and it will be focused on women. Now, it was very distinct, it was very clear, because I wasn't sure exactly where it would be. And even then, he had said it, that it would start with the women first, but eventually it would extend to both women and men, as well as children. I had known far back then that even all what we were doing in the gender space was not going to be limited to women. It was also going to be all-encompassing for men. And so I started to build at that time, even though I really wasn't clear on where it would be going and how I would be stepping out and all. And so at the time when I had to leave the financial industry and start, I honestly didn't know what I was transitioning into. I just knew it was time to transition, and I had to start building. And also because it was a gender space, it was kind of like a novel industry, even in Nigeria then. I really didn't know anyone who was doing gender advisory, impact, and so many other things. So it was like there isn't a template.
There's no template.
You just have to, start doing. And I remember I had the inadequacies, and I was like, I don't know this thing. I don't even know where I'm going to start from. So I had to go back to redefining myself. And it was a culmination of different learning schools, from Women in Leadership by Covenant Nation, a culmination of even Visionary Leadership Compass by Debola Deji-Kunomi, as well as a number of things I had written down when I was 16 years old about myself in my journals.
Wow. So sorry to cut you short. So a woman that is listening to us right now, she did not have a template to work with. So she got to a point where she had to now say, I need to go back to find knowledge. Awesome.
So, and it's not just, I would say it's also kind of like knowledge about yourself. The thing about identity is you're already that person, right? You could be evolving. There might still be chips and things to take out of you, but you're already that person. But with identity, in life, when we start doing things, we can be labeled with different things, and then you now take it off as this is my identity. Yeah. And one of the funny ways we can do that is to project the identity of our jobs on ourselves, or to project the role that you're at home as a
disciplinarian, and they say she's just stern,
a caregiver or provider, and then you make that your identity. I'm just a caregiver, I'm just a nurturer, it's not necessarily your identity. Because when you look at your identity, you have to look at it like, where is the identity coming from? What's the source? What is the design of this identity, your personality, your traits, all of the things that make you, your values, the things you believe, right? As well as a whole other things like, what are my assignments? Why? Because your identity is tied closely to your assignment and what you're going to be doing. And I found out that I had actually been writing down a lot of the, as far back as I was 16 years old, I had actually written down that I was going to be working with women and children and families. And so when I went back and I started to read through a lot of those things, and the things I had written down in my quiet place with God and all, and the things that I had written down over the years, it was astounding, because everything was just aligning, and it was almost like this was what you were supposed to have been doing all along, but it then needs to be refined and also tweaked or kind of modified in a way. Yes, that's exactly what it was.
So it means that these things were inside of you. This is who God had called you to be.
So I personally believe when you're born, right, your identity is already on the inside of you. That is who God has called you to be. Like I said, so many things happen. Social conditioning, how did your parents raise you to be? What has happened to you in life as you continue to grow? What have you been labeled with in the past? Oh, this one doesn't know anybody. He's just an imbecile. He behaves like a moron. He doesn't know. You're not intelligent. You're not smart. Oh, you're not cut out for this. Oh, this is not. You're not a performer or a strategic person. And you can internalize those things until you it actually it becomes, yes. It's then that you are not like, but this is not who I am or who I am supposed to be and all. So your identity is who you are. It's like when a sculptor or somebody who carves, right, sees a stump of wood. In his heart, he already sees what he's going to create from that stump of wood, which is the identity of that wood, right? So he's going to start chiseling things out. In his heart, what he sees is probably a stool or some form of a carving or image, and so that's what he's going to bring out, right? Because but that sculpture is already in that stump of wood, so it's going to carve it out. So it's really about knowing that identity and then growing, aligning so much with that identity, not necessarily the expectations or the standards of society that is handed and has been handed over to us since when we were children.
Wow, sis, that feels like a lot. Because there's this clarity that a lot of women seek especially when it comes to identity. Like Umo just said, I'm not supposed to be. I just want to be at the back end. You know, I did that for a very long time. Let me just stay at the back end. Let me just help people from the back. And you know, God was saying to me that 8,000 times more. 8,000 times more. And you know, the first and second episode has helped me. First, second, and third episode, and fourth episode. You know, which is where we are right now. You know, this is our fourth episode actually, and this is what. And it just spoke to me that, you know, this like people have seen this and this and this, but they need to understand their identity. This is who I am.
Yes.
And they're able to now build on those things and emerge.
Fantastic, you said it
And
all.
emerge,
Identifying
and
who you
emerge,
are first. And just as you were speaking, it's almost like when you run a business, you define who you are first, right? Most organizations will say we have values, we have missions, it's all about defining who you are. What kind of an organization are we? Are we going to be running things like what do we do? How do we do that? And so for a clear example of what we do, how we call ourselves in Teal Tree, is that we are champions of gender equity. We know gender equity like the palm of our hands, and we solve some of the most challenging gender solutions on the face of the planet, I dare say to, right? And so because we know who we are, we're aligned with our assignment. Like, this is what we're supposed to be doing, and this is how we can do it. And because we also know who we are and the assignment, then we also know who we are called out to. It's not just individuals, it's organizations. And so when I bring out solutions for organizations and all of that, or I'm strategizing on this is how this can work and all of that, it's astounding because they look at it and they see, this actually aligns with our strategy and everything. And so it's really about getting that identity, knowing that identity, and then every other thing falls into place with it. Your assignment, everything else. But it starts with that identity. If you don't know who you are, there tends to be a lot of fragmentation. And when the storms of life comes, it's going to toss you and toss you. And because the storms of life did toss me. And I had to ask myself after, even though the storm has tossed you, who are you still? Are you still a tangent? Do you remain that integer? Are you constant, or you've now shifted into somebody else?
So sis, what's that redefining moment that helped you embrace who you are?
So after working a couple of years in the bank, and I had to transit into nothingness. You know, when people transit, it's either you're transiting into, so most people would say, I'm going into a better place, like a new job and all of that, right? But at this time, there wasn't any job. And because I had been following the leading of God, because he had told me clearly almost a year before that you registered a business and you register it properly, and it has to be done really well. I don't want to get into that because it's a long story, but it was very, very detailed that this is what he had to do. I'm going to approve the name and all of that, and you know, so many other things. But you know, after you've done a lot of work that you've been known for and all, and then you're now getting into like quietness. It's transiting from a lot of applause, achievements, performance to
When it becomes quiet.
nothing, totally quiet. And then it's kind of like you're starting again. And so I had to sit down with myself and define myself, like, what is the journey that has led you up to here? What are some of the mistakes that you have made that has allowed this to happen? What are the lessons and learning points from that? And who are you, Ibukun? Who are you at the heart of yourself? And so I had to break down the definition of who I was in terms of, how do I say, genealogy-wise? Right, the last born in my home, the second girl, which was really symbolic. I can't even get into that right now. I then had to start defining, what am I about? What are my values, my ethereal values? What are my values when it comes to the way I function? What are my values when it comes to my being? And so those were the things that started to make me know myself, that I am very family oriented. My family, my children, my husband, I don't play with that. And that's almost like how I grew up as well. My mom was a working woman, but we were loved. We were not, I'm the last born, I was loved, I was not spoiled, right? So a lot of those things, and I had some of the most memorable, beautiful memories and experience of childhood. And so I had to start defining myself, and then defining myself by what would I like to do? Who am I? I believe I'm a creative person at heart. So I can't do a job that is going to enclose me or restrict me. I have to be creative. I have to be able to use my intuition, because I'm very, very gifted with intuition, and I think I've passed that down to my children as well, right? So I had to start defining quite a lot of things about myself and linking it to what kind of career trajectory does this look like. And after I defined it, I actually defined a role and a kind of job I would like to do, as well as what I would like to earn and all the other things I wanted to do. And I started to pray about it, and it did actually come to pass. And the clarity began, right? Because like I was saying, I didn't have a template for how the company should be. But I can tell you, sis, that role, the next assignment I went to, gave me a defining point of what the company should be, of what I should be doing, of how I should strategize, what should be in place, the policies, the partners, how everything should be. And it linked back from my journey from the past to the present and pinpointing to the future.
Awesome.
And so I had to sit down. I mean, it took months. I've shown some of my mentees the document I did from it, and they're astounded. They're like, wow, what is this? Where do I start from? And I'm like, hey, this wasn't a journey of one day. It took about 3 months for me to be able to get to this point. And even that document, now I've adapted it and evolved it even like 2 more times, such that it's very clear that this is how it should go. And I would say this to any woman: if you don't define yourself first, look, we can do so much. There's a lot of noise out there, and it tells you so much about this is how you should be, these are the things you should achieve, this is this is. If you don't sit down and quieten the noise and define who you are, particularly with the lens of the Bible, you can achieve a lot, because we are wired to be fruitful, to multiply and all of that. But it may be meaningless. Exactly. It may be empty. You can do all of that and you still feel very unseen. Yeah. And so this is what has made me very secure in who I am. You won't see me all over the place. I am fine with it.
You're fine in your calling.
In my calling. In my calling. And even when they are, so those are the things that makes me know you're supposed to be here, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to learn from here, you're not supposed to learn from here. You haven't done this. Yeah, is it part of what I'm supposed to be doing? Is it my calling? Join this program. Yeah, why am I joining it? Is it fear of missing out, or because God has asked me to join it, or I feel like there's something that I truly need to learn from there and all. So it took a lot of quieting down the noise. I withdrew from quite a lot of things, because we can get sucked up in a lot of activities. I believe so much that it really comes with sitting down with yourself and defining who you are. Just start from wherever. It doesn't have to be perfect. There isn't a template. God will meet you where you are.
If there's one word, it says start where you are. Take that little step now. And so says, what are the principles, guidelines that I would like you to give? A woman is watching you right now and saying that, Mrs. Ibokun, I hear you, but can you just give me one, where do I start from? Can you just break it down to me like bullet points?
So when it comes to steps, it can be very tricky, because sincerely, I feel like we're all at different spaces in our lives, and God meets us at different places, right? Just like I had said before. But then I would say a clear starting point would be to quieten the noise. Reduce the noise around you, yes, because it helps your mental framework. One thing I know about people, particularly for myself, is if you're not at a great mental state, it's going to affect how fast, how far, how quick you go, right? If you are not ready, you are not ready. So you need to get to that place where you are ready. And a lot of us don't sit down to actually say, where am I at, first of all? Am I overwhelmed? Am I exhausted? Am I, just surviving and kind of defining that, and then using that to propel yourself forward? Like, what is the next thing, right? Do I need to get rest? Do I need more laughter and joy in my life? Do I need to hang around with parents or family members or friends and all of that? And one of the ways I recalibrate a lot, which is one of the reasons why I say I'm very family oriented, is I have a great family. Now, as much as I have a great work structure, right? I also have I'm not one of those women who is thriving in the workspace and then our marriage is failing. No, my family is great. So I spend time with my children. When I don't want to spend time with my children, I spend time with friends. If I'm not spending time with friends, I'm going to look for something that will make, I'm a nature person. I would look for something in nature. If it's to walk, if it's to moon gaze, I love looking at the moon or something. I always do that. So use that to kind of recalibrate yourself, quieten the noise, and then define, where am I? What is the issue right now? Where do I need to go? And use that to propel yourself forward. Again, it would also be to redefine what success is and failures to you, right? Because what you think might be failure might not actually be failure. It could be an experience that is prepared. I believe so much that people grow through pain. They grow through struggles. I have gone through a fair share of pain and struggling in my life, and it has helped me to move forward. So redefine what is failure to you. Is it what society termed as failure, or is it, why would you call it failure? And then determine what is success to you. Is success about the baby girl life and soft life really, or is there more to success, right? Because they give us, there's a lot of facade out there that you just have to be chilling, you can't be doing anything and all, and that's the life. One of my biggest success is seeing real transformation in the lives of people. People who come to me, they're like, thank you so much for this. People who come to say, I was going through this exact thing, and what you actually spoke to it and all, right? People who spend time with my children and they're like, gosh, Ibuku, you are doing such a fantastic job with the boys. I enjoy spending time with them. I love coming to your place. Those are part of successes for me and all. So redefine what success is, redefine what failure is, and then use that to chart a path forward. We can say this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. It may not work for you that way. So I'll say, wherever you are, sit down with yourself, sit down with God and say, where is my starting point? And just use that to start propelling forward.
I love the way you redirected us. But yes, because the truth is the story for everyone is quite different. Yes. And I like that part, the way you redirect us to say, no, don't count 1, 2, 3. And that way, because it begins to put you under pressure.
Yes.
Because you say, they said we should start from number 1.
Exactly.
Go to number 2. And when number 1 is not sitting well,
then it looks like it's not working. Because this is like you could just be going through, you, for example, might be going through overwhelm. And then you now want to start from maybe redefining success. No, it's not.
It's just that quietness.
It's just that break. Exactly.
I just need
So you have to profile yourself and say, where am I, first of all? And what looks like it's going to work for me here, and just be practical about it.
Oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good. That's good. Thank you so much. And one more, in a sentence, what you say to, in 2025, I'm emerging by.
In 2025, I am emerging by identity. I have been emerging by identity. I believe I will still continue to emerge by identity and evolve with the identity. I am gradually getting to the evolving stage. And so I encourage you to please sit down with your identity and emerge by identity.
This is Emerge Moments. Rebuilding is not about becoming someone new. It's actually remembering who you are. And sometimes God just strips away everything to ensure that you are the woman He has called you to be. Strong, healed, and whole. And if there's one thing I really want you to write down today, is that what exactly is truth? What exactly is real? Who exactly I am. Thank you so much for joining us today. If this episode speaks to you, please share with another woman. Share, like, subscribe on the YouTube channel Emerge by Desola. Your girl, Adesola Oladumoye. Until next time, see you.
Every pause held
Rebuilding. It's canny. Hey. Jesus, God, I love it because I want, there's some things I really want them to see.
You were raised not in fear, but with faith, not in doubt.
Thank you for watching. Rebuilding in itself is not an act of failure. It is actually a proof of faith. To rebuild with God takes strength, takes power. And so wherever it is that you are right now, take that small step right now. Don't stop emerging with grace, with power, and unshakable faith. My name is Adesola Oladumoye. Until next time, see you.
But what wisdom